The Webflow designer has many components to choose from, and one of them is this fabulous map feature, which allows you to easily plot a map of a single point location for your customers. It's great for your contact page, allows you to show where your business is. However, it has a lot of limitations, particularly limitations in styling, limitations in the ability to preview it. Here in the designer, I can't actually see what the map will look like as I change the settings, or even as I change the address or the tooltip or the zoom level. I only see this generic image, and I need to publish it. If I have a look at the resulting map, my options are pretty limited. I can't style the pop-up box that appears here. I can't style the push pin. I can't style the map itself other than choosing between terrain and satellite view and various zoom levels. So I'm very, very limited. There is, however, another option for displaying maps within Webflow that I really like, and it's referred to as Snazzy Maps. Now, Snazzy Maps is a free product. As far as I can tell, it's going to remain free, and it's really worked well for me. So let's have a look at what I've got in this system. Let's go through the process of creating a map. You can see some of the other maps that I've thrown on here. I have quite a few choices in the displays. There are themes, colors, and styles. I can choose and style the pop-up dialogues, and I can also style push pins, as you can see here, including uploading custom art for push pins. So it's very powerful and very flexible, and it has a great environment. Let's go ahead and create a map now to see what that looks like. Unfortunately, as of capturing this video, there's no ability to copy a previous map you've designed. That's one limitation of the system that hopefully they'll rectify soon. But the process of creating a map is pretty straightforward, and you can look at your previous maps to see what you've got. So I've actually taken some screen caps of my previous map to keep track of what it is that I actually want for my settings. I can look at, for example, different map styles here. There's an enormous array of map styles. I mean, way more than you can find. So you pretty much need to know what you're looking for. And it does have a search feature once you've found a style that you like. And you'll find just so many different themes that you can apply. You can play with different ones until you find something you like. My suggestion is, before you play with the map styles, first at least enter your address and set your size and location so that you know what's probably going to appear on your map. So first things first, let's set the size and location here. Now, because I want this to approximate the Webflow horizontal slice of a map appearance, which looks like this, I want the same size. So I'm going to go for 100% wide and 400 pixels tall is what I usually go with. So let's go ahead and set that. 100% wide, 400 pixels tall. There we go. So that's going to be my map slice. Now for the location, I can search for a location, and the search location is going to be this location in Otaki, New Zealand. There we go. There we go. So now we're looking at our map. I can adjust my zoom level if I want. I probably do want to. I'll have to figure out what's best for this client. I would guess they'll actually need to see the streets. They'll know the area well enough, but I'd like to show the corner of water here. So let's try that initially. And I'm going to go ahead and add a marker. Now the markers don't need to be at the same location, but of course, most likely. So I've identified the center of my map, essentially. Now I can actually identify a push pin that I want. And I'm going to call this MES Capity. It's the name of my pin for my own reference. Now I also want to style this. So let's pick something different. This is going to be the main style. And I can choose the color as well. So let's go ahead and sample a color. I think I'll sample their orange. I'm using a little capture tool here I like called Pick. And back to the map. Let's apply that. I've got an orange map. Now I can change the size, I can make it larger for so on. And I might actually want to do that in this case since it's going to be the only pin on the map. Don't want to go custom. I've got my icon defined. Now at this point I can actually go through and configure a pop-up. This gets quite fancy, but it also does take some work. So here I actually want to put the address details. I probably want to put the phone number details as well. And why not? I'm also going to see if I can fit the hours, just to make it, put it all in one place in a very nice, visible way. So I'm going to go for default dark. Background color will be fine. Here's where I get to edit the text. Paste this plain text to do some formatting here. Now, of course, I want this to say MES Capity, which is, I'll probably put lawnmower and engineering, manufacturing and engineering services. I think this is probably fine for the map. I'll put their contact details here and the hours, Monday to Friday and Saturday. That's fine for now. I'll probably play with this a fair bit more later, but that's fine for now. And I could do a bit of bolding. I just want something fairly simple here, but easy to manage. And I think the hours is fine for now. Let's stick with that. Don't know if I can put some... Yes, I can. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, not fantastic, but it's kind of fun to play with and see what it will actually emit on the final map. Now, I'll probably want to make an adjustment as to the actual positioning here, because now that I've got this dialogue, I want to choose the best placement for it so it's not overlapping the streets. And I also want to be able to, I obviously need to be able to see the streets, but I also want to be able to adjust the map so that this whole thing looks more or less centered to the most effective view, which is the streets, which give the context, the city context, and the position of this pop-up and the icon itself. Now I can adjust the position here. Also under advanced settings I can change the padding, and I feel like this padding is a bit too much, so I'm usually going to drop it to something like 20. I think that feels alright. I'm going to increase the corner radius. That looks good here. That looks fairly nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. Now I've got other options like border and so on. I don't know that that's particularly necessary. I can change the arrowing, the arrow. I can hide the arrow. I can change the arrow length. Don't really need to change any of these details, but it's nice that all of these capabilities exist. And I can affect the opacity as well, which has some intriguing possibilities. Now, I want it to automatically open, so I want this to appear without me having to click the pin, and right now it's not, so let's enable that. I really don't want it to ever close, although I'm going to go ahead and leave that there. There may be a case where I want to close it so I can see what's behind it, and close when other pop-ups are open. There are no other pop-ups, so I'm going to turn that off. And I believe we're ready for now with this aspect of it, so let's apply those settings. Now let's go back to our style, and let's pick something where I can see the streets more clearly. And they are quite well hidden, aren't they? They're quite muted in most of these styles that I'm seeing. I'm not sure why that's so muted. I really need them to pop out a little bit more than that. Alright, this is a bit clearer. Now if I close that, I have a feeling, because of where it's located, I actually need to see more. I'm going to go ahead and apply this style for now. I think this is going to be acceptable. And with the address and so on, people should be able to know where they're going to. And I believe advanced settings. These are additional advanced settings such as the map type. which I don't think I need here, although it's quite a nice option. Terrain maps, hybrid maps. I think I'm going to stay with a straight road map because we're really focusing on location. Now this is another aspect, the behavior that you want. So scroll to zoom we generally want off, because otherwise it will, as I scroll down the page and I'm using my scroll wheel, once it hits the map it'll suddenly switch to zooming, which is generally not what you want. Clickable points of interest, that's fine. Double click to zoom, that's fine. Keyboard shortcuts, I don't mind, I haven't used them before. Panning, being able to click and drag the map, yes, absolutely, we do want that. So let's go ahead and set these controls. Everything else looks pretty tidy. And I want to adjust my location. So you can see my latitude and longitude here. I can adjust this to fit where I want it to. So let's go for this position. Let's save that. And I think we're all right for now. So let's go ahead and emit this. So first thing I need to do is save all of the settings and changes that I've made. And in that case, I need to give it a name. Yes, Capity. That's the name of my map. I need my Google Maps API key, so I'm going to go generate that and come back. You can essentially click here to go straight into your Google account, whatever you've set up, and then you can simply get a key. Now once you've got your key in and you've clicked save, you'll see that your map has saved successfully, and you can now export the code. And simply all you do is you're copying this iframe. Back to your Webflow designer, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our tree view and we want to insert an embed. We'll put it right after the map for now. It's simply going to paste in the iframe code. Nothing fancier than that. It's already got the size set in it, which has been generated by the generator. So everything that it needs is already configured and set. You can see it's the same size. And in the designer, I can actually see it render exactly the same view that customers are going to see. So I can simply delete my previous map, publish and save my changes. Let's have a look at the final product. So my previous map, which looked like this, now has a much slicker, tidier view. If I scroll down the page, it's not interfering, yet I can click zoom, zoom in, zoom out, click and drag, and yet the mouse wheel is not going to be affected. I also have my satellite and map view if I want to switch there, and I have the ability to close that box if I ever need to. Lots of different options and capabilities. This is really one of my favorite products, little add-ons essentially to what Webflow offers. I highly recommend you use it. And it supports multiple pins, so in cases where you have a small franchise, for example, and you need to be able to show those pins, you can do that easily. Now, one of the best things about Snazzy Maps is that once you've deployed the website and you want to make some minor modifications, such as to the text or to the positioning of the map as it comes up, you can simply go back to your Snazzy Maps account, which you've already created for free, and simply edit that map. So if I go back to my maps, and I can now see this new map that I've created, I can go into it, and I can make any additional changes that I want. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to make some minor positioning modifications. Just very minor. I could choose to zoom, I could choose to change the style, and so on. And once I'm done, make sure to click Save to reapply those changes. Make sure to click Save here to get those updates to go in. And then view code. You won't need to view code copy. Nothing else has changed here. You're done. Once you've saved, your updates have been applied, and clicking refresh will show those new theme changes, new positioning changes, etc. I hope this was helpful. Enjoy.